From January till April, what was the time commitment you were giving for SCR?
So just 1 hour in the morning I used to give for SCR.
And when did you complete your one full reading of the content?
It took me 3 months to complete one full reading, like watching the lectures and practicing the questions and studying.
When did you started your second attempt preparation for SCR? Which month?
Second attempt I started roughly July last week.
Okay. Why so late?
I was in a dilemma whether should I appear again or not.
Okay. And which chapter was tough for you in the entire reading, first reading?
4 I think was very tough. That was on
And during the exam, did you found yourself stuck between two options and you had to eliminate?
that issue was there. So two options, it is very easy to eliminate, and the remaining two left, it's very difficult to choose which one is correct and which one is wrong, because
When you came out of the exam this time, what was the confidence level for you in terms of clearing the exam?
I had a feeling that I would pass this time.
Hello guys, I hope everybody is doing good. Hi, this is Ganesh Nayak. We're going to be talking about a quick journey of our student, okay, in this today's session where she's going to be talking about her efforts to clear the SCR exam, what has been her journey, what has been her learning, and how she managed to clear the exam, okay. So we have with us today Asha, and Asha will guide us on the entire journey. So Asha, can you just give us a brief introduction about you? Okay, like what is the profile that you're working in, and when did you decide to go for SCR exam?
Hi sir, good evening. Glad to have me on board. A brief introduction about myself is I am working in a risk and consulting firm. So this is basically into financial services, and currently I am working as an consultant, risk consultant here.
So you basically appeared for SCR in the April 2025 attempt.
Yes sir, that was my first attempt in April 25.
Perfect. Now, when you appeared for that, so before that, when did you decided that you want to go for the SCR? Which month you decided? Which month you started your preparation?
So, based on the first attempt, I decided roughly around January 25 that I have to take the SCR exam, and
Okay.
because this domain is very much in demand right now in the market, so I plan to take this exam. So at that time, I joined you for the April exam.
And simultaneously, you were giving the May exam for FRM level 1. May or August? May.
May 2025.
From January till April, what was the time commitment you were giving for SCR?
I had started my preparation like maybe 1 hour in the morning, because I was also working that time. So I could not give much time because FRM was also there. So just 1 hour in the morning I used to give for SCR.
And when did you complete your one full reading of the content?
It took me 3 months to complete one full reading, like watching the lectures and practicing the questions and studying.
And you solved all the chapter questions also, okay?
No, sir, that was the mistake from my end. I did not solve all the chapter questions. Some of the chapters I couldn't solve due to time.
And did you solve the mock papers also, the full length mock papers during the April attempt?
No, sir, I hadn't solved that. That was the mistake that I had committed.
So was it that it got stretched? The reading part got stretched,
Yes, sir, the reading part got stretched.
and obviously you had the FRM exam, and you cleared the May FRM exam also, level 1.
Yes, sir, I cleared in May. Yes.
In the first attempt for SCR, you could not clear. When did you started your second attempt preparation for SCR? Which month?
Second attempt I started roughly July last week.
Okay. Why so late?
I was in a dilemma whether should I appear again or not. Though although I had understood where my mistake was, like I did not take the mock test seriously, and I also not practice some of the questions, like chapter questions.
Like you already have mentioned, but I want 3 to 4 points which you changed in the after July that helped you to clear the exam.
So, sir, this time my strategy was first I have to complete the reading and the studying part of all the chapters. I cannot skip any topic, I cannot skip any portion of any chapter, because that was the mistake I had done earlier. And also, I had kept a buffer of like 20-25 days before my exam date for mocks and complete revision. Like I had to do 1 or 2 revisions because I had already failed earlier. So this was the strategy that I developed during July, and then I made up my mind that I have to give it again.
And question solving also. While
Question solving also. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And this time when you started again, when did you complete everything once in terms of reading, watching the video, and solving of the questions?
So by September last week, I had done reading, studying the chapter at my own end, and watching the lecture and practicing questions.
Okay. And when was your exam date?
It was 28th of October.
So you still had a month, roughly a month
Almost
time.
the one. Yes, yes. I had this time. I had.
And by the end of September, you were happy.
Yes, that I had finally completed the syllabus. Yes.
Okay. And which chapter was tough for you in the entire reading, first reading?
Four, I think, was very tough. That was on sustainability policies and climate policies,
Okay.
and in that chapter only, I got the lowest quartile.
But when you were solving the question bank, what was the average score you were getting?
The average score was roughly 55, 50 percentage, 50, 55 percentage.
Once you completed everything in September, what was the next step that you were taking?
By end of September, I had completed everything. So my
Correct.
plan was in October, I will give mocks, and wherever my weak areas are in the mocks, I'll try to rectify that.
Okay.
Also, a mistake that I had made in my first attempt was I did not take the case studies seriously. So this time again, in your question banks, there's a separate section for case study. So I
Right.
had solved all those case studies, and similar type of case studies had come in the exam. Exact, like similar. Like if you
Okay.
attempt those, yes, similar case studies were there in the exam.
And with respect to the calculation based, how many calculation questions were there on the day of the exam?
Roughly four or five, and one was there in the case study.
And you had solved the because we had also added one more section of calculation based questions itself. Did
Yes,
you get
sir.
time to solve?
Yes, sir. I had solved that during the revision part.
From 1st of October till the 20th, how many times you read the entire guard book?
I had made up my mind to read it twice, but
Okay.
the first reading I did for all the chapters, and the second reading I did for all the chapters except chapter 9, I think.
And what was your view about the two new chapters that were added, basically?
I think the last two chapters that got added was basically for case study purpose.
So you were okay when you read, you were comfortable with the content. There was no problem, right?
There's no problem with the content.
Now, on the day of the exam, was time management an issue for you?
No, sir. Time management was not an issue because I had already attempted a lot of mocks. I'd given five mocks. Four were there in your question banks, and one was of GARP.
GARP sample paper. Now, when you look at the actual exam and you compare it with the GARP sample paper, so is the exam one level above, or is it of the same level, or slightly low? What was your view?
As per GARP's mock paper and the real exam day, I felt it was quite similar.
Okay, in terms of the length, also length of the question.
Some of the questions were really very short, like just one line
Okay,
and options. That's it. And some questions were actually very lengthy.
and during the exam, did you found yourself stuck between two options and you had to eliminate?
Yes, sir. Yes, that issue was there. So two options, it is very easy to eliminate, and the remaining two left, it's very difficult to choose which one is correct and which one is wrong because they are very similar actually.
In the exam, when you were solving the case study based questions, okay, was those questions very tough, very easy?
Sir, I found it to be easy because, as I said, in your question banks, the case studies that were there, it was quite
Okay.
similar on the exam day as well.
The reason I asked you because in April exam, one of the student highlighted me that out of the two case studies, one case studies were very tough.
Okay.
So I wanted to check whether that's the same pattern is being followed or not. When you came out of the exam this time, what was the confidence level for you in terms of clearing the exam?
I had a feeling that I would pass this time.
And which book you got a very good quartile? Which chapters?
Which chapters? I think I roughly 5 to 6 chapters I got in the first and second quartile,
Wow.
and
Okay.
I chapter four, which was very difficult for me, and I got the worst quartile in that.
In fact, that chapter is more theory.
Yes.
Okay. Because majority of the students that I have found who have not been able to clear is either because of first chapter or chapter number 6 or 7.
Chapter 6 and chapter 7 is more into risk management and risk measurement. So, and also that has a very substantial weightage in the curriculum. So, I had
Correct.
made up my mind to give a lot of time to those two chapters because it will be heavily tested. So I was very thorough with those chapters.
How did you attack that chapter? If you can give us some idea so that the students can also follow.
Chapter 6 and 7 has those liquidity risk, credit risk involvement, which I've already done in FRM level 1. So it was a
Okay.
little smoother for me in that sense.
So, and how many times you must have read that chapter?
I have read two to three times.
Now, if I ask you from your experience, what give me three tips which I can share to the students who are planning to give the exam next year.
So first, I would suggest like I had also done this during this time of my preparation. I had made one notebook where I'd written all my mistakes while reading the chapter, while practicing the question banks. I used to make a lot of mistakes, and whatever those mistakes were, for example, a concept of water vapor feedback, I used to keep on forgetting that. Then
Okay.
difference between RCP and SSP,
Okay.
difference between Millennium Development Goals and Sustainability Development Goals. I used to always get confused between these two topics. But always, I made it a point to like note it down in a notebook, and I made a mistake sheet or mistake notebook kind of a thing. So it helped me during like just maybe 1 week before the exam. I just flipped it through, and it was like really fresh on my brain. So this is
Okay.
one thing I would suggest the upcoming students. The other is time management in the
Hmm.
exam. So,
Okay.
if you give mock exams, or even though when you're practicing the questions, it's better to time yourself because that will become very easy when you give the main exam. So that
Okay.
was and giving mock is the third one. Like I made this mistake in my first attempt. I did not give mocks. So if you give mocks, it's better on the exam.
Correct. Because when we look at the backend data also, uh, we realize that even though we have given four mock papers, very few, I mean, 40% of people or 35% of people who actually solve all four. The rest, it is only one or two mocks. They're not because they don't get time to complete their preparation and all of that. So wonderful. I mean, Asha, I mean, this conversation is going to be really helpful for students who are going to go for the next attempt for your SCR, and this will guide them because you were working, you had a job. And interesting part was that you managed the FRM exam also in between. So in 1 year now, you have completed two big exams as a part of your career journey. So again, this will motivate a lot of students to go for these exams, prepare better, and learn from your mistakes and analyze and do better. Thank you, Asha, for taking out time and talking to us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was great talking to you.